Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding. Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? So again, y'all was on the live stream yesterday. Remember we was talking about the Sunday chart, and I said it was a live stream yesterday. That price can retrace, especially we can't hold 19,100 as resistance. Sure enough, what do we see? We see price retracing. All right. We're still gonna look for sales, but again, we want to let the retracements happen so we can catch the next pump to the downside in this case. Or if it was an uptrend, we'll let the retracement happen so we can catch the next pump to the upside like we did last night with GN. Right now, if y'all was in the live stream yesterday, y'all know that we broke down this GN setup, but moved too quick for me to post to members and students. So you know I had to make sure they were able to eat still that day. So this is what I always talk about. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If the markets are open, your confirmations are met, go for that setup. We literally took this trade as soon as markets open. And y'all don't believe me, I can show you, right? So again, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, doesn't matter what session, right? As long as your confirmations are met, take the setup. That's the beauty of Forex. Let me pull this up really quick. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Make sure like the live, y'all hop up in here, y'all. Yeah, so I was going to do the recap of the month yesterday, but since we took a trade last night, I'm going to do the recap of the month today after this trade finishes playing out. I'll do it this afternoon or evening, whatever the case may be. New video just dropped yesterday for y'all. Make sure to check that out after the live stream if you haven't already. All playlists are up to date. Okay. Chat. What's going on, Brad? I see you up in here. All right, it's called a playbook, but I'm also a part-time next buster, right? Because anyone who's been in the trading space, I know y'all heard a bunch of times how people talk down on Asian Tokyo session. But again, each session has certain pairs that have higher volume than other pairs. And each session has moves going on. And each session has, it doesn't matter if it's New York session, London, Tokyo, each session is going to have a point in the month or the week where there's going to be range or consolidation. That's just how the markets go, right? But a lot of times people think Tokyo session is slow or rangy because it's like a Sunday or Monday and they're trying to look at NAS setups, right? But, you know, on a Sunday, Monday, NAS and gold aren't really going to move. You get what I'm saying? So the trade is still playing out, so I'm not going to show the whole signal. I'm just going to show the time we entered the trade. Actually, I'm going to have to flip back and forth because I want to show you this as well. All right, so this was last night from the advanced play signal room. right? So again, got the New York price watch this every day at the beginning of New York session, 9:22, right before New York session started. And then you can see later on that day, 5:33 p.m., right before markets reopen. I was like, again, this is why I point out the jump to kind of be patient as well as understand what's going on. Let's see what the charts do tonight. And then you can see I was sending screenshots showing them that the charts was talking about the New York price watch list, did exactly what it was talking about. And then this screenshot was me showing them GN retraced. And I was saying, let's see what the markets look like, right? So then let me slide this over really quick because again the trade's still playing, so I'm not going to show the full signal yet. Then you can see literally as soon as markets open, we entered the trade, and then you see we start eating immediately, right? And that's the same thing. There's 23 hours, 5 days a week. The markets are open, right? Doesn't matter. Your confirmations met. You can go for the setup, right? So we hit almost the last TP. We hit 7 out of the last out of the 8 TPs, and then again you can see price retested. Boom, right? And that's where we're at right now. Did a nice retest, retraced, pushing back up. So we're about to see if we can hold 2800 as support. For 2800 support, we're looking for continued buys going to 2875. All right, that's the game plan with GBP New Zealand right now. Everything else is still kind of just ranging. And the NAS retraced. So again, like I said, we're still looking for sales on NAS. We're not looking for buys anytime soon. About to watch and see if it can hold this level as resistance at 19,280. If it can, we can look for sales going back down to 19,000. But again, it did do a big dump on Friday. So I might try to retest 19,450, 19,460 as well. All right, because again, we can see here that price was struggling to break the support level, and then it just blew through it. So especially if we fail to hold this level right here as resistance, we're going to most likely retest these levels up here. Got a new 15 about to pop up in a second. You guys got any questions? Drop them in the chat. We're looking at charts. Drop them in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? New 5 minute just popped up. As far as news today, we do got a news event at 10 a.m. for the USD pairs. So we're gonna see what happens between now and then. Again, we did catch a nice move last night during Tokyo session. We're just letting this play out right now. And we're watching and paying attention to NAS100 as well. Again, NAS can hold 19,275 as a resistance. We can look for sales going back down to 19,000. So we're about to see if we can hold this level right here. Everything else I really don't like right now. GJ still where it's at on Sunday. We can see for Sunday. So still just ranging right here. So again, let's see what today and tomorrow's looking like, because again, here's a new month. Just like the first week of every month, we got a major news event on Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday, 8:15. Most months, we got the FOREX going down, right? And then Friday, 8:30, we got average hourly earnings now following 20 change of unemployment rate. You see this the first week of every month, right? We go to last month. Right, this one was on the first one on a Saturday, so that's a little bit different. But if we go to this, right, and we scroll down to Wednesday, what do we see? 8:15 ADP, right? What do we go to Friday? What do we see? 8:30 average hourly earnings, now for employment change, unemployment rate. So these are the major news events that pop off that we get here every month. Like I always say, the first and last week of the month are usually the tough months to trade due to all the news events. So a lot of times, like if you miss the move, you find the consolidation or retracement, or if it's not a move, it's simply waiting for the news to pop off. Right? Again, February, first Wednesday of the month, 8:15 ADP. We go to Friday, same thing, 8:30. Same thing, Canadian USD news. Right? You can literally see this for every single month. That's how it goes. So I'm gonna go live with the members and students on Wednesday tomorrow during that to see how that plays out. But yeah, right now we're mainly just paying attention to this G setup, and then we're watching NAS100. Like always, y'all, you guys got any questions? Drop in the chat. When we get any charts, drop in the chat. Dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to check that out after the live stream if you have not already, and make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, y'all. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting. But yeah, if y'all was on live stream yesterday, y'all could have hopped in the setup. So we broke down into this one live, and then we talked about this next setup here. And again, right, this was the resistance level. You see how if you would have waited to see if price could break and hold that as support, you would have saved yourself on the loss, right? Because again, this is what I always tell you, don't chase a trade because price is always going to retrace. If it doesn't retrace, wait for it to break and hold the next level. Because let's say Sunday night, boom, I dropped the Sunday chart analysis. You missed this initial move. All you had to do was patiently wait 5 to 15 minutes to see if it was going to hold this level. And then once it didn't hold that level, you could not only have caught the same exact move it did Sunday night, but then you could have caught the, again, this is why you want to go with the flow of price. Look at this. This was 3 a.m., right? This was Tokyo session, London session, New York session, well, New York session. So this is what I'll be saying, like, imagine if you only trade New York session, right? You would have missed 3/4 of this whole move, right? Because 9:30 was right here. So you would have missed this entire move here, right? You would have caught this small move. You would have got caught in the retracement consolidation. You see what I'm saying? But another thing, right? You see how price was treated as low as resistance. They held this level as support. That's what we always talk about with the rules of the uptrend. Matter of fact, let's just pull it back up, right? That's exactly what we talked about yesterday's live stream. Let's pull it up. All right. In order for the uptrend to continue, we need to what? Break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. So when we look right here, we did not break that resistance level, but we respected this level as support, right? So again, this is why it's important to follow the rules of price, but also follow the flow of price with bigger time frames. Again, if we're trying to identify the trend and enter on the same time frame or do all of them over a smaller time frame, a lot of us would have saw this reversals or sells, right? And then people would be confused, scratching their head. Our price proceeded to fly the rest of the day, right? So again, like I always say, the goal isn't to try to catch every tip in the market. The goal is to know what direction price is going and follow the flow of price. Because as you can see here, when you follow the flow of price, you can see catch the big moves, right? You can clearly see the moves up way bigger than the moves down, moves up way bigger than the moves down. And again, why is that? Because we are clearly, like we talked about in yesterday's live stream, in the uptrend. And what do we see? We saw that we broke the high to the left, just like we talked about. So now we're going to see if we can hold this level as support, which we had a retest. All right, we just don't have a retest on the bigger time frame yet. Again, this is why you want to follow the flow of price. I don't use any indicators. Everything you see me doing the live streams, everything you see me doing the TikTok lives, everything you see me doing breakdown in the trade breakdowns, in the day trading tips playlist, you'll never see me pull out indicators. Like I just said, I follow the flow of price. I don't use indicators, right? Follow the flow of price, understand the rules of uptrend or downtrend, and then I mark off the key price levels. But I don't use any indicators. Right? Like I always say, indicators hurt you more than they help you, especially when you're a beginner trader, because a lot of people don't use indicators for what they're actually meant to be for. A lot of people try to use indicators to tell them everything, when an indicator is supposed to be an extra tool and extra confirmation, right? So you use indicators as not only for instead of being an extra confirmation, you use indicators as the only confirmation. And on top of that, use them on a smaller time frame. That's why it's not as accurate, right? Because again, it's supposed to be extra confirmation. Indicators aren't always accurate, and they're always going to be a little bit late to the party. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right, 15 just popped up. Let's see if we can hold this level as resistance. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok too, y'all. TikTok, if y'all been watching the lives, man, they've been trolling your boy. I don't know what happened in yesterday's live, y'all. Like, I ain't gonna say nothing, but that was extremely weird what happened in yesterday's live. That was extremely weird what happened in yesterday's live. But we're gonna go live again. We might go live again today too. I got a few meetings and sessions, but after that I might go live for a little bit. But yeah, TikTok's been trolling it, boy. I don't know what happened in yesterday's live, but it is what it is. So then we're not really paying attention most because, as you can see, most charts are just ranging and consolidating, and this is what leads to a lot of FOMO and rushing the setups, because you're just staring at a chart that you know is consolidating and ranging, and then as soon as you see a quote unquote in your eyes a big move to upside downside, you get impatient and pull the trigger. So again, since we understand the rules of uptrend, rules of downtrend, and the rules of consolidation, I'm simply got my alerts where I want to look for setups at. So then I'm just going to pay attention to charts that are closer to those setups and confirmations, like NAS100 right here, for example. You get what I'm saying? So let's see how this can hold right here. Again, we caught a crazy move on GN. This trade was absolutely insane. 1-to-7 risk reward ratio setup, and then 1-to-4 risk reward ratio setup. This one was a 1-to-3. I got looked out of this personally, but the trade is still valid because it did retrace back to our entry and push back up. But I got looked out of this over here. But if it can break back above and hold 2000 as support, I'm going to go for more buys on it. So that's the game plan with that. But yes, this afternoon when the markets reopen, I'm going to do the recap of last month. I was going to do it last night, but then we took that trade Tokyo session. So I was like, I can't do the recap when we're still in the trade from that month, right? That wouldn't be fair. So I like how this is looking right here. Setting some alerts on my screens. And then gold again, make all-time highs again, so we're just letting it retrace a little bit. We're still going to be looking for buys, but we're just letting it retrace a little bit. Like I know this other stuff. We're going to keep on that right here. If you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. And if you need charts, drop in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting. We're looking to see if we're going to hold this level as resistance. We're going to hold 19,280 as resistance. We're looking for sales going back down to 19,000. Quarter two has officially started, y'all. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Go to free signal, free Telegram. Gotta update that because that's not how we did last month. That's how we did February. And that's not how we did last quarter. That's how we did quarter four last year. So this afternoon, I'm gonna do the recap of the month. And then probably Tuesday. No, today is Tuesday. So probably Wednesday during New York session, I'll do the recap of the quarter. That way I still do the recap of the day. That Wednesday afternoon when Tokyo session starts back up. All right. But if you hit that first link in the description, you can go ahead and see a sneak peek. Besides the trade we took last night or how we did last month, we only took one loss the entire month of March, y'all, which is absolutely insane. Went 4-0 last week, 3-0 the week before that, 3-0 the week before that. We went 3-1 the first week of March. And then if you scroll to, I think, March 3rd, you can see how we did February, which you see on the screen, went 12-0 February. And then you scroll to February 3rd, you can see how we did January, went 17-3. January was 85% win rate. So we only lost 4 trades in quarter 3, which is not bad at all. Again, all this stuff is data time and documented. We break down every single trade live like we do every day here. And of course, we do send a chart analysis at the beginning every week like we always do. And this is how we ended last year. Last year, we had 181 wins, 23 losses, averaging less than 2 losses per month. Giving us an 89% win rate, catching a total of 326,550 pips. So we're literally just picking up where we left off last year. But yeah, we went absolutely insane. You go to right here where it says subscribers. You scroll down to where there's photos. There's over 1,500 photos, over 3 years worth of receipts. By the way, y'all, the official playbook is out and available. Okay, you can use discount code. Shit, what's the discount code? I think I put it in here. This message. I think I put it in here because I got a couple discount codes. Like I said, if you DM me or comment Playmaker under any of my posts on Instagram or TikTok, I'll give you a special discount code. But you can also use. I did not put in this post. Give me 1 second. I'll type it in the chat. I got to pull it up on my other screen though. I posted on my community post, but let me post it in the comments right now. Here it is. A little helper had my phone on me. Let me grab my phone real quick. All right, let me put it in the chat. Oh, it is on there. I just can't read. It is on there. It's just at the top. Right, wait, I'm looking at it on my screen, March 27th. Okay. Day too early. That's why I was like, I know I put it in there. If you use code MYYEAR, you can get 15% off on the playbook. Again, it works on crypto, options, stocks, forex, anything with the chart. This is how it works, right? If you're watching my stock analysis, my weekly crypto analysis, you'll know that. As well, of course, you do these live streams, you know, it works on futures, indices, metals, and forex pairs as well. Okay, in that playbook, you click that link, it goes over all the details, but I go over how price actually works, how price actually moves, so you actually know what the next move is going to be. Because again, if you don't understand how price works, you don't understand the rules of uptrend, rules of the downtrend, you're always going to be reacting or guessing, right? But when you actually know how the rules of uptrend, rules of downtrend work, you know the cycles, how price actually moves, you'll be able to know what's the next possible move going to be, and what's the next move most likely going to happen, right? And that's what we do all the time in Sunday chart analysis and the learning session lives is we follow the rules of price. That's where we're able to know what price is most likely going to do, right? Just like with GM. Looking for buys, we see things flew all day yesterday, even flew all night last night. Why? Because again, we know exactly what we're into. We understand the rules of price. So that's how we catch these big moves. And our win rate so high, right? So we're very picky with our setups. We're always going with the flow of price, right? Now we got this chart retracing, which I have no issue with because we want to catch trades off the retracement to catch the next move. 15 just popped up. Now we can look for buys or holds as low as support, but I'd like to have it retrace a little bit more. But you can look for buys here. Again, we are extremely bullish. Just had a new higher high get made last week, as we can see here. And again, we broke this down during last week's lives. I don't know if we broke them down in the London session lives. I know we broke down and went over them during the TikTok live. So we could break this down really quick as well, because ain't shit really going on right? So might as well keep on teaching. Hold up, GJ just broke that level. Okay, so like we talked about during the Sunday chart analysis, this is reversal territory. Right, this is reversal territory, so we can look for sells here on GJ, but the downtrend would not officially be in play or effect unless we can not only break but hold 192.05 as resistance. So we can't hold this level as resistance. We're going to just see this happen again, or we're going to be ranging a little bit. But if we can break and hold this level as resistance, we will be in a downtrend, right? So we see short-term sales here from 193.30 going down to 192.75. But if it doesn't break past 192.70, hold as resistance, we're not going to be approaching the possible downtrend. And that's why I got my sales right here. I got my buys up here. You can see here last time we this level, but we didn't break past it, right? And we see here how even when we reverse, we never broke past and treated this level from support to resistance, which is why the bullish momentum came back into play last week. All right, so again, that's why we have the sells here, and then we got the buys up here. See what I'm saying? Same thing with you. We're in a reversal territory, but we break past these next couple levels, especially we hold 2860 as resistance. We'll be back in the downtrend. All right. But again, why is price doing this? Like we've been talking about since March, during March. Look to the left is going to explain what's happening in the present and what could potentially happen in the future, right? When we was in a downtrend here, what happened? The same price points, price struggled to break through, and it didn't break through it until a volume kicked in, right? Just like right here, this mess when we was catching buys back in the day during summer quarter. Again, look at summer quarter. Look at this. This was the beginning of July, middle of July. Like these crazy moves during the summer. Right? Crazy ass moves during the summer. But anyways, that's besides the point, right? What happened here when we hit the same price couldn't break through it, we reversed, right? But then when we went back through, how do we break through? With volume, right? Broke through with volume. So we look right here, we try to break through it with volume, but then we got stuck right here, right? Yeah, it's not just randomly doing stuff. You can't say that's a coincidence. You say that's a coincidence, I'm gonna look at you funny because probably you don't question enough things. All right. You see NAS pushing down. So let's break down this gold setup, right? Because you got a lot of people who are going to be thinking possible sells. But this is why I was calling buys and why price even exploded to the upside and broke all-time highs again, right? So let's break this down. Because again, in order to understand why price is where it's at right now, you got to understand where it was at beforehand that led it to where it's at right now, right? So we're going to trash all this stuff, and then we're going to bar replay this. Okay, we're going to bar replay. And see, the bar replay is working now, so I don't know why the fuck. If y'all was in the TikTok live yesterday, y'all saw as soon as I started cooking, my tab glitched out. Then I went and switched my other tab. It was working, but as soon as I switched back to GBPJPY to break some more stuff down, it glitched out. Then my whole monitor glitched out, but then my left side was working. And then when I told you I was going to restart the live, I was going to restart the live, but then for some reason it wouldn't let me go live. It was fucking weird. Like it wasn't that I got flagged because I didn't get suspended or reported, but every time I tried to go live, it kept on saying error, error, error. So I don't know what y'all can take what y'all want from that, but that was extremely weird. But that's besides the point. So again, I'm gonna catch up to the comments in a second. You guys got any questions? Drop them in the chat. We're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. But again, so this is what gold was looking like before that new higher high, right? So this is what I always say to understand the rules of price and to not just focus on that certain candlestick for the day because the rest of the sauce. People look at price, they see a red candle, so they see price pushing down. They think that means sells. That's not always the case. Just like we see a green candlestick, that is not always when buys, right? So that's why it's important to understand not only the rules of price, but follow the playbook, but understand what is actually taking place, right? So when we look at price right here, yes, we see red, but when we zoom out and actually look at the full picture, what do we see, right? Because if we're looking for sales, we need to be in a downtrend. If we're looking for buys, we need to be in an uptrend. So again, looking at price, not just a single candlestick, but actually looking at the full cycle, Which range does it look like we're in? Does it look like we're in a uptrend, or does it look like we're in a downtrend? And by simply just doing this, you can save yourselves a lot of money just by simply just understanding what cycle we're in and not trying to chase price, right? Because again, I used to do it. That's why I don't do it anymore. I always say everything I tell y'all to do, I do. If I tell y'all not to do, I used to do, and there's a reason why I don't do it no more. Right? So again, it's all about just logically thinking, right? Because we hear it all the time: lions, tigers, bears. Oh my! Oh, liquidity squeeze, people selling, or whatever, manipulation, right? So all this stuff is a factor. That's all the more reason to follow and respect the rules of price. At least that's how I think about it. Because if all this stuff's true and all this stuff's out to get us, all this manipulation, why the hell are we trying to fight the markets if all this stuff is going on? That don't make any sense, right? So that's why I tell you not to fight the markets. That's just like, again, the surfer analogy. Imagine you're on the beach and you see a surfer trying to go against the wave or fight the water. You're going to look at them like they're silly, right? But for some reason, we be on these charts trying to fight these whales in the water. I don't know about you. I ain't trying to fight no whale. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, y'all want to fight these sharks and whales in the water. I don't know why. This ain't SeaWorld, you know what I mean? This ain't Shamu. But again, just looking at price right here, we're clearly in the uptrend, right? Let me catch up to the chat. Yeah, what's going on? What's your question? What time frame do we look to see the lower low? So I always say to go into bigger time frames. So I always look on the daily time frame, right? We're on daily right now. I like to identify the trend on the daily time frame. Because again, that's how price moves, right? I'm not swing trading. So it doesn't matter if you're scalping, day trading, intraday trading. I'll always say you want to identify the trend at least on the daily time frame, because that's how price moves. Price moves on a day by day, week by week, month by month basis. So in order to understand that the overall direction price is going for the week, we need to see what it did last week, the week before that, which is what we can see right here, right? So when we look at this uptrend, we have been in the uptrend. We can argue all this, but let's just stick to here to keep it simple. We've been in the uptrend since the end of December, the beginning of the year, right? You see this is January 2025. So we've been in the uptrend since the beginning of the year. So if we've been pushing up since the beginning of the year, and again, we don't see any lower lows, who am I to be like, I'm going for sales right now? But again, why do people do that? Because they see all-time highs got broken, or they see a red candlestick, so they're like, oh, price has to reverse. Instead of, okay, what is the rules of the uptrend? What part of the uptrend are we in? Then make a decision. A lot of people try to beat price too, right? And in one-on-one sessions, I like to talk about this, right? All right, let's say you have a dog. Everyone's had a pet before, for the most part, right? Dog, cat, hopefully more ferret, whatever the case may be. Let's say you had a dog, right? Anyone that's had a dog, you know this. Let's say you're chilling on the couch, right? And you get up. As soon as you get up, most dogs are going to get excited, and most dogs like to run ahead of you and assume the next location you're about to head to. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. So what does a dog do? Does a dog wait for your confirmation to see if you're about to get up and go to the kitchen, the bathroom, your room? No, they get up and run, assuming, oh, they usually go here from the couch, and then they turn around and they see you're going somewhere else. And what do? They gotta slow down, not run into anything, and they run back to you, and then they try to chase you and follow where you're going. That's what y'all be doing on the market. Y'all be trying to chase these candlesticks instead of understanding the flow of price, letting price come to you, so then you can catch that next move, right? That's the same thing we did with GM, right? Let's say you missed this from the standard chart analysis. A lot of people would have been like, oh shit, I just missed this buy setup. So once price touches this level, I'm gonna go for a buy. Boom, but it took a loss, right? Then a lot of people were like, oh, damn, that's a fat red candlestick right there. I'm going to go for a sell. Then they would have been confused why price did this. Instead of, okay, I missed the setup. Let me see if we can hold this level. We didn't hold this level. Cool. Well, I don't care if it's retracing because I know we're still in the uptrend. So I know as long as we can hold this level of support, I'm going to look for buys here or here. Boom. Right? And again, we see here, price actually retested this level, then pushed back up. And then look right here, price broke this level, retested, pushed back up, versus here, it did not hold and respect this level as support, right? So again, a lot of people would have saw this, thought sells. So when price went here, they would have went for sells. Boom, confused why price did that, right? So this is why it's important to follow the flow of price. So that being said, let's just make sure we're not missing anything. NAS is doing what it's doing, which is cool. All right. So we clearly see we're in the uptrend. So that means no matter what, until we see what lower lows, we want to look for buys. It's that simple, right? So what does the rules of the uptrend say? Let's pull it up and see what the rules of the uptrend says. It says, in order for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which will give us a new higher high. And we also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. So what do we see right here? We see high, higher low, higher high. So this is the higher high. So price is going to have to break this higher high right here. Then we see this is the higher low, right? So this was the previous higher low. So for the downtrend to come into play, it would have to break past this higher low, the support level was on, and treat it as resistance. So when we look at price right here, right? Did price break past the higher low right here? Did price break past the higher low right here? No. Right? Again, I don't care how many red candlesticks. Did we break past the higher low right here? No. So this is still what? A higher low here. Okay? Again, price, did it break past this higher low here? No. Boom. Right? The price break past the previous high? Yes, it did. Did we also respect the support level the higher low was resting on? Yes, it did. Yes, we did. Right? Again, people would have saw this thinking sells. Well, again, all they had to do is wait for that retest. Price never held this level as resistance. Then folks would be scratching their head while price flew to the upside. Again, never did price break this level and treat it as resistance. Then look at that. Flew to the upside once volume picked up. All you got to do is be patient, follow the playbook. Don't try to beat price to the gun, right? Don't try to jump the gun. Oh, it's a red candle, so that means price is going to reverse. Let me jump into it. No, wait to see if that information of the trend change is going to come into play, right? It's very, very, very simple. Again, price retraced. Again, you can see buys going from here to back to the highs at 31.50. Again, this resistance level turns to support. Again, respect the support level the higher low is resting on. As long as price doesn't turn the support level into a resistance and or make a lower low, we're still in uptrend and still only looking for buys. Again, every single day, every single chart, we see these rules are being respected and followed. All right, it's called the playbook for a reason. Let's cancel this. Back into the video. Whoops, my bad, y'all. You know, at least once I gotta knock the mic. So again, we do got some USD news today. Not going to be going live with the members and students during today's USD news. We're going live during tomorrow's news with the members and students, but we do got news today at 10 a.m. All right, we got USD news at 10 a.m. So make sure to keep that time in mind. All right. Ready to read the chart so good. You put me so much from game out here. That's what, yeah, that's why it's called a play, but that's what we do over here. Yeah, because again, like I always say, one thing, like when I was trying to learn this shit, I wasn't one of those people like, oh, you're trying to sell me something. Fuck that, right? Now, I'm not stupid either because I'm from Georgia. I ain't dumb. Like I know a scam when I see one, right? But I have no issue paying somebody to teach me something, right? So I went through those routes. I paid a bunch of people back in the day. Now, unfortunately, um, they didn't want to teach everything. They were one of the types where they just want to give you just enough so you see the shit works. But when you ask questions, they didn't want to answer questions, or because they wanted you to strictly rely on them, right? So that's why I started to play with, because again, all I wanted was people to show, or people to show me, like, not only is it possible, but like, look, this is how it's done, right? So again, that's why I do these live streams, why I post all these videos, answer questions, all that good stuff. To want to motivate and show people that this shit's not as hard as people make it seem, but also show so y'all can actually, get some wins on y'all's belts, so y'all can see it's actually possible as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's also why I'm charging arm and a leg for my shit, right? Because if I wanted to, I could be charging 1K, 3K, like all these other people. The reason why I don't do that is because, one, so anybody in any class can invest in themselves and learn this shit. And also, the most important thing, what's the most important thing about investing? Getting a return on your investment, right? I'm not going to charge you 1 or 3 bands when you can use that 1 to 3 bands to actually fund your account. So when you actually learn how this shit works, not only will you get your return on investment, but you still have enough money to actually fund your account. You get what I'm saying? All right, like all you got to do is not eat out for a week, or not buy the new Jordans that come out, and then you can get some serious game. They can use everything, right? Because again, this isn't just a trading strategy. Like I always say, my trading strategy is not even what I'm teaching right now. Some of it goes and applies to my trading strategy, but all the shit I be teaching for the most part is how to read the charts, because that's the most important thing that people need to learn and understand before you can even see success in trading, or consistent success, that is, right? Because again, we make money based on the charts, we lose money based on the charts, all the confusion is based on the charts. So again, it's so important to understand how the charts work. That's why I get a little triggered when I see posts where people are like, "Oh, you can't. The markets are just impossible to understand." I'm like, bro, no, it's not true. Yeah. So again, y'all, don't be too surprised if between now and like 6:37 a.m. if we don't see any action on the charts. Don't be too surprised if it's like that up until 10 o'clock when the news pops off. Yeah, so those are the charts are just gonna be chilling right now. We're gonna see how this last candlestick closes though. If you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. Looking at any charts, drop in the chat. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today as well. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be dropping at the beginning of the New York session. It's probably gonna be another. Let me see. Check. I think it's going to be a stock update video because I did drop one last week, so I'm gonna drop another one. It's not gonna be the same stocks that I went over on last week's video. It's gonna be some different stocks. I'm gonna do an update on some other stocks I talked about a couple of months ago. Which I know what's going on with those. Actually, I lied. Some of them might be the same stocks as before. Because again, with stocks, I don't be buying them. I have like a handful, well, not really a handful, maybe like a handful and a half, 2 handfuls of stocks. I don't go too crazy on the stock side because again, I have the main ones that I know I'm gonna see returns on, and I got a few. So I have like the main ones I know I'm gonna get returns on, and then I got a small portfolio of like real estate, dividend stocks, and then I have another portfolio with higher dividend stocks, so I might talk about those. But for the most part, I'm super heavy on the crypto side because one, you can make a lot more money on crypto because more, especially more of the popular crypto coins, are a lot cheaper than popular stocks. So just off that, you make more money when they increase in value. And then plus, I like the dividend. Well, it's not even dividend. I like the passive income aspect of crypto better than stocks as well because with crypto, they call it staking, but it's the same thing as basically getting dividends. Only difference is, I talked about this another. The only difference is basically with staking is you're basically you can't pull your money out. You put your money in, and it's and depending on the crypto is different. Each crypto coin that stakes is different. Some is you have to wait 8 days to pull it out. Some is 15. Some is 30 days. But the point of staking the coin is you're putting your money as the liquidity in the markets, and as a reward for your money as the liquidity in the markets. If you're the liquidity in the markets, that means that you can't pull your money out because you're the liquidity. So if people want to pull out their money, they're using your money that you stake to pull out. That way, there's always money that can be pulled out on those coins. But they reward you by giving you payouts. Now, instead of waiting a month for some real estate or 3/4 for most of the dividend stocks, you get paid out weekly, bi-weekly, sometimes multiple times a day. So, and the returns are higher than most stocks too. So that's why I like the crypto coin. Everybody's been freaking out about the crypto stuff. I've been getting payouts weekly and daily, and I've been making money weekly, daily as well as DCA. So, I dropped a video on staking coins. I might drop another video, not today though. But I got a few other things that's going to be going over that stuff. Dropping in the future as well. All right, y'all. Look at these comments. How do you place a short on TradingView? So I don't trade on TradingView. I just use TradingView for my analysis. I trade on my other screen, or I trade on my phone. Right? We're talking about the sell position. So you can figure out the risk to reward ratio and all that stuff. All you got to do is go to your left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Click right here. Long position, short position, and then just star them so it's bookmarked, so you don't gotta go search for them every time. All right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Click right here. Long, short position. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Again, it's because the strategy this isn't a strategy right here. I call it a playbook for a reason because it's how price works, right? The strategy comes in when once you know this knowledge, how you're going to apply it to get what you want out the market. aka the day trading, how you're going to apply it for when you're looking for buy or sells, your long-term investing like a stock or crypto, how you're going to apply it so you know where you can see it in and to see it out at, things like that. But what I'm teaching right now is not just the basics, but what's like the most important thing that you have to learn first before you can even really start trading or investing confidently and profitably, right? Which is how to read the charts. You know what I'm saying? Like I always said, brand new to trading, don't even worry about finding a broker to put money in or worry about prop firm challenges. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but hey, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you what you need to know, right? First thing you need to worry about is how to read the chart. And when I tell people that, a lot of people don't like to hear that. I'm like, well, are you trying to be successful or are you trying to fucking struggle for 2 years, right? If you're trying to struggle for 2 years, by all means, find a broker your first week learning what day trading is, and then try to learn how to day trade while risking your real money just so you can lose your money versus learning how to read the charts and practicing on a demo account. That way you're learning, but you're not losing any money, right? So again, it's just up to y'all. If y'all want to blow your money or you want to save that money while you learn the skill, I don't know about you. I'd rather save some money and learn the skill because, again, just like learning anything in life, you're going to make mistakes in the beginning, right? So, again, that's why we talk about there's no rush trying to take trades, especially when you don't know what the fuck you're doing because you're literally just going to throw your money away. And that's where you get all these people online about, oh, trading is a scam. Oh, only 99% of, only 1% of people are successful. All the odds are against us because they over here doing dumb shit, right? And again, I used to do the same shit, but that's why I'm talking like this because I used to do it and I don't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been live since y'all joined. Make sure you hit that first link in the description. Go to free signal, free Telegram. Again, later on today, probably during New York session, I'm going to post the recap of last month, so make sure you be on the lookout for that. If you're interested in by these levels, my Signal or mentorship program, make sure to hit those links in the description, y'all. You watch the last 2.5 minutes of any of my YouTube videos. I go over all the details of advanced play Signal and one-on-one sessions as well as the course. And again, make sure you get your copy of the playbook. All right, it dropped last week. Shout out to everybody that's already copped it. Again, you go to the free Signal for Telegram. You can use discount code MyYear, but if you comment Playmaker under any of my posts on Instagram or TikTok, I'll give you a special discount code. Or if you're a member or student, shit, I forgot to post that in the course channel. My bad, course members. Let me post that in the course channel because the members and the Advanced Play Signal or the course channel already got their special discount code. Well, I don't think I posted it in the course channel, so I'm about to do that right now. So let me go ahead and send that to them now because I know I'm gonna forget. So I know as soon as this live is over, I got some other shit I'm about to hop into. So let me go ahead and send this to the people in the course. Oh, I already sent it. Okay, I'm already ahead of the game. Okay, cool. All right, so make sure to check the course channel and the Advanced Play Student Room channel for y'all's discount code. Yeah, we're gonna be back at the same time tomorrow, London session 3 EST, and I might go live on TikTok later on today. All right, so make sure I have your notice on and all that good stuff. No problem, no problem.